not take any credit for. This is all my husband. It's very windy. We live in South Georgia, and we're about an hour from the coast, but we still get all of the wind. So it's like all the wind without the beach. My kids may come in and out, I don't know. But I'm filming it out here because it's hard to find a quiet place inside. Usually I film in our bedroom, but my husband is taking his Sunday afternoon nap. So here I am outside. The dog may come out, kids may come out, I don't know. So here we are. But this Flosstube is going to be a little different than what I've done before because I don't really think I'm going to share much stitching. I'm just going to talk about March and it being March, and then I'll cut to a video of me talking about organizing my cross stitch, which will be filmed inside, but I have to wait for an opportune time. Also exciting is I have 100 subscribers on YouTube now, so I am flabbergasted. I've only been on Flosstube for about a month. This is my 4th video, so I don't know if that's normal. It may be like nothing and no one thinks it's cool. I don't know, but I thought it was cool. So I'm really happy to be meeting more people and finding more Flosstubers, finding people on Instagram. You can follow me there at Sound Mind Stitching. But yeah, so today is March 6th, 2022. Tomorrow will be a month since my first Flosstube, and I love March. I love the weather. I've lived in the Southeast for most of my life, and I love it because I love March because it's the best weather of the entire year, like March and October. Our electric bills are always the lowest at this time of year because we definitely don't need the heat and we don't really need the air. So we keep our air on all year because of we don't ever turn it off, but we can set it to a better temperature and it's not as expensive. So anyway, I love March. It's my birthday month, so my birthday's in a few weeks. It's the time of year when I first met my husband. We met in March of 2006. And so it reminds me of meeting him. But one thing I wanted to talk about today was how to hold the good and the bad at the same time. And March is that for me. It in general is a happy time, but I wanted to talk about this because it is about 2 years since COVID came and changed all of our lives forever. I don't know if it'll be like this forever, but it's certainly impacted us in ways that I think so many people are still feeling, whether it's because someone you know died or some big plans you had changed. I know we had some friends that were supposed to get married in May of 2020 and they did get married, but it was not the wedding that they had planned, whether big or small. But at the same time, I'm sure you also have happy memories of the past 2 years, right? For me, March will now forever be touched by what happened in our family 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I was pregnant with our 4th son, Noah, and we had come out of a really tough season where we knew we were going to be leaving the church where my husband was a pastor, and we knew we were moving to Georgia, and our original plan had been for me to be induced with our son on March 25th. We were going to move to Georgia on March 28th. Now, we knew that sounded crazy. Looking back, I'm so thankful that that's not what happened. So, anyway, what ended up happening was my husband had already started his new job at his church here. He was driving back and forth. I was home in South Carolina with our 3 kids and I was pregnant. And on March 11th, 2020, I had been having a lot of issues with my pregnancy over the previous few weeks. I'd been in and out of the hospital, dehydration, I had an infection, I had possible preterm labor. So this was just a regular doctor's appointment. And I had been having contractions, but that had been happening, if you've ever been pregnant, or have a partner who's pregnant, by the 4th kid, your body's kind of like let's just do this. And the contractions don't necessarily mean anything, or they might mean you're having a baby in like 2 minutes. So anyway, I'd been having contractions. Nothing had come of it. I went to my doctor's appointment and they said, hey, you're having contractions. And I said, yes, I know. And they sent me over to labor and delivery, and they determined this baby needs to come. And so my husband, actually, Christian, was still in Georgia. He was supposed to be coming home that day. And thankfully he got there in time. And it's so windy, the tripod is blowing. Thankfully he got there in time. And I'll just never forget it. You know how people say, like, where were you on September 11th? Or for like our parents or grandparents, like, where were you when Kennedy was assassinated? For me, it's where were you like when COVID finally felt real, right? And for me, it was that day, the day that Noah was born, because I had him, he was out. We were moving from the delivery room to like the regular hospital room, and I was in one of those like giant hospital wheelchairs with all of our stuff. I think I was holding him, and my husband was following along, and he was like just checking his phone. And they wheel us into the room, they close the door, here we are, and my husband says, hey, they just declared that COVID, or I think we were still calling it coronavirus back then, the coronavirus is like a global pandemic. And I remember sitting there like, wow, that sounds really bad, but also like I literally just had a baby, and I don't really have a way to process this, and I didn't really know what it would mean, you know. It was still felt kind of far away. But then he said, yeah, like they canceled March Madness, like the NBA, they're not doing basketball. And that, I'm not a big sports person, but I understood, like, he said, like, that's never happened before. And I was like, oh man, what in the world? This is bizarre. So that's where I was when COVID, like the day it became a global pandemic was the day that Noah was born. And I don't know if you've ever seen The Walking Dead, but he wakes up in a hospital room, and basically like the zombies have taken over, but it was, the world had changed while he was in the hospital. And now granted, it was not quite that extreme, but that's kind of how I felt. Like by the time I was only in the hospital for 2 days, and by the time we got home, we were driving home from the hospital with our new baby back to see our other kids, and it was like a ghost town. It was a Friday. We lived in Columbia, which is a pretty big city, and Friday afternoon is like, it's super busy, and it was like there was nothing. Nobody was on the streets. It was so strange. And that was the day that school got canceled. At the time we thought for just like a couple weeks, but ended up being a long time. And again, we had planned to move March 28th. But then that next week I was home. We were all home, and we were packing. I had friends helping me, and on the 20th, which was a Friday, my friend that was there said, you know, like, what if things really get crazy and you can't get a moving truck next weekend? Like, you're already pretty much packed, you've already had your baby, your kids don't have school anyway, why don't you go ahead and just move? So that's what we did. We called our friends who were going to help us. We called our friends here. We'd already closed on our house down in Georgia, so we had the keys, we could move. My parents actually bought our house, so we didn't have to worry about, we'd already closed. We were still there, but we'd already closed. So anyway, it worked out, but it was also insane. So we moved here on March 21st, 2022 with a 10-day-old baby in the middle of the beginnings of a global pandemic. And so, you know, then our older boys were in school. They never went back to school that spring, and we weren't able to ever register them. So we just kind of did nothing for, we had like a 4-month-long summer. And when we got here, our church had shut down where my husband would be working. He still went into the office because there was nobody else there. But I was home alone with all the kids, a new baby in a new place where we couldn't do anything. We couldn't go anywhere. We didn't know anyone. And so now March, like as the weather has been changing here and things are happening, I'm just keep being reminded of that. And so, you know, recently somebody said, wow, like this was just this last week, like, I can't believe, do you guys realize it's been 2 years since everything like started locking down? Like, I can't believe it. And I was like, actually I do believe it, because I have a living, breathing, incarnate reminder of that in our son Noah. Because when I look at him and think he'll be 2 in a week, or now less than that, I think that's my reminder of COVID. But what I want to say, and this is the sound mind part of my channel, and it's not like this is all I talk about, but I was thinking about it this morning, that it's actually something I've come to realize is so important the older I get, is that it's okay to feel like good things and bad things at the same time. And our lives are not built of all happy things, and hopefully they're not all sad. Don't mind the dog, he's also out here with me. But you know, as a Christian, there's a principle that you see a lot in the book of Psalms, which is a lot of, they were songs and poems about lament, and how even as these people, they believed that God was a good God who would take care of them, they also experienced super hard things. And so there's certain Psalms that are just them saying like, why does life have to be so hard? So whether you're religious or spiritual or not, I'm sure you can acknowledge along with me that like there are things in our lives that we know they're good, but they remind us, or they also bring back really hard things. And of course, I don't regret our son Noah at all. But his birth will forever be a reminder of that really, really terrible, awful time 2 years ago. And so I just want to encourage you that if you ever feel like that, whether it's about COVID, I think all of us probably have COVID related like pros and cons to the last 2 years, right? Like maybe you worked from home and that turned out to be really good, but you wish that you hadn't because people you love got really sick, or your kids missed out on things, or you missed out on things, or you weren't able to see family or friends for a long time. All of us have suffered, some obviously like way more than I have on many levels, but all of us have lost things and suffered. So that's my encouragement for March, is don't throw out the happy memories with the bad. Like find a way to hold on to those things and grieve if you need to. And I encourage you to, if you're feeling grief, but also be okay with the fact that it's not all or nothing. It's not all good or all bad. And in your better moments, like it is for me, be able to appreciate and be so thankful for the good. And I'm thankful that I have Noah, because if he had been born at a different time, I would have processed it all differently. And right now, when I think, no matter how hard things are or how much I'm feeling the loss of things, I think, man, but we have this guy, and he's just the best. He is almost 2, but he's a great kid for being almost 2. So anyway, that's kind of my initial thoughts about March and the excitement of being the spring. I am really happy to share these organizational, I don't know that they're tips, I'm really just going to show you what I'm doing. I don't even know if they'll be helpful, but I finally kind of got it how I want it. So I'm excited to share that with you. And also at the very end, I'm gonna do a giveaway, my first giveaway, because I now have 100 subscribers. So you can skip the organization part if you want, I don't care. But definitely skip to the end if you want to. And it's nothing like crazy, but I want to commemorate it. And I'm just really excited to be here. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy the organization stuff, and I'll see you probably in different clothes and possibly in a different place. I don't know exactly when I'm gonna film the giveaway part. We'll see. But anyway, thanks for watching. And I'm gonna show you how I have my cross stitch stuff organized. So this is my bedroom. I used to think it was funny when people said that they had like a craft room, like when I was growing up, and I thought, a craft room, who would want that? Well, now I know. I don't have a craft room. We don't have a spare room. One day when our kids are grown, maybe I will, but for right now I have this side of our bedroom, and I've decided to utilize wall space for a lot of my stuff. I used to keep my stuff in my desk, which I'll show you in a second, but it was overflowing and I couldn't find anything. So I got these from Amazon. I'll put the link in the description. They came in a pack of 6, but they also come in a pack of 3. So I bought 6 a month ago, and then I bought another 3 last week because I needed more space. So basically, the way that I use them is each of my projects is in one of these mesh Amazon bags. I haven't gotten into the world of fabric project bags yet, but these are so inexpensive and work really well from things spilling, keeping them clean. So I kind of organize them by like priority. So down here are ones that like I haven't started, it's not a big rush, but they are time sensitive. All of these are kind of time sensitive. These are less time sensitive, and then these are the ones that like if I have time, I want to work on these and meet my goals. So I've got Nutcracker Village, a new start, which I'll tell you about in another video, and this is Coastal Holiday. So, and then I also have another one on my desk. But over here I have at the bottom, these are all fabric, again, organized in bags. I don't have a huge stash, so this works. I have like smalls, so these are like scraps I cut off, but are still big enough that I could do something on. And then I have a bag for 25 count and above. Some of it's linen, some is Lugana. And then I have my 14 to 18 count Ada bag, which is the biggest. Above that I have fabric. I've got a bag for solid color fabric and a bag for printed fabric. So I use these for embroidery or for backing and finishing things. Not that I've done that much, but if I was going to, that's how I would do it. Up here I have another bag with many small bags inside. I'll show you. These are like backstock floss, so I'm going to show you my floss box in a sec, but these are like if I have extras or something, I keep them in here organized by number. And then I also have homemade floss tags and rings to put floss tags on. And then the third column, I've got hoops. Some of these are like for finishing. I also have some plastic hoops that I sometimes use when I'm stitching. These are small ones, like 3 and 4 inch. I use these for ornaments. And I bought like a pack of 20, which is why I have so many. So then up here, this is just kind of random. I've got kind of some notions that I like only would use in my room. Like my cross stitch key, my hole punch for floss tags. I've got fabric scissors, I've got hot glue, I've got ribbon, I've got twine, I have, I guess that's about it. Actually, there's another bag in here and I can't even remember what it is. So maybe I need another basket. Oh, like luggage tags. I experimented with those. Yeah, so those are my baskets. I like them. My youngest son, he can reach these, but he can't do a lot of damage right now, which is good. Yeah, so I'm gonna change the angle and show you my desk. Okay, so now I am sitting at my desk. This desk, also quick note, this is my plant, Penelope. I think I've introduced, I can't remember if I've introduced her, but I just watered her like 5 minutes before I started the video, and she very quickly will perk back up. She looks dead, but she's fine. This is my desk. I got this desk from my neighbor who was getting rid of it. It was like, it's not like solid wood. It's plasterboard mostly, but they were getting rid of it, and it was like, probably used to be brown, and they had kind of painted it teal, but it didn't look good. So they helped me get it into our garage. I guess this was 18 months ago maybe. And I sanded it down and painted it this light blue color and added these black hardware, and it's like it's not like the best desk ever, but I like it. So I used to, again, I said I used to keep all my stuff in here, and it was so crazy. The baskets have helped. So now I've got really 2 to 3 drawers that I can use for cross stitch or stitching stuff. This top drawer, another great thing about it is my 2-year-old, please excuse my dog, is not able to really open the drawers. It's so old and rickety, he can't open them, so they're childproof. So I keep in my drawers like dye. I haven't actually dyed fabric, but maybe one day, some paint, acrylic paint and acrylic coating for finishing. I just painted a frame or a hoop the other day, some paintbrushes. I've got cardstock in here. In this bottom drawer, I know you can't see. I do have some other projects in here. So I've got 1, 2, I've got 5, really, wow. 5 projects in here that I have not started, or well, I have started a couple of them, but I'm kind of putting them on pause for right now because I have these other time-sensitive things. So if I had another basket, I'd probably put them in there, but since I don't, they're too full. So I'm just keeping them in the drawer. They're not my focus right now. So, and then the other drawer is this one behind me, and this just has completed projects. Well, they're done. Some of these are finishes. I've shown you these before. Some ornaments that I made. Sorry, Allie, I still haven't sent this to you, but I will. And some that are finished, but not FFO'd. I have the frames, I just haven't done it. I need to do it. And then, so I also have this little bag where I keep my cross-stitch notions. So this I can take with me. I think it's just an old sewing bag. I've got clips, I've got a little ruler, extra scissors, a tape measure, pens, my needles are all in here. So this is something I can grab anytime I'm traveling. And then this is what I've been working on today, the Santa's house. So I've got that here. I'm going to pause it again and change the angle and show you my floss box, where I keep my floss, and also my binder where I keep patterns. Okay, so this, I probably could have organized this before I sat down. It looks like a mess. This is a double-sided floss box from Hobby Lobby. This is some pearl cotton that I got from Michael's for like 10 cents. I've got some pencils. Pretty sure this is empty. Oh no, there's like a, look at this monster needle. Can you see that? It's huge. I don't even know what that's for. Anyway, that's that side. On the other side I have all my floss arranged by number. Now, this is gonna, I'm really curious to hear your opinions on this because my friend Sarah, who I've mentioned a lot, thinks that it's crazy that I start in the back with the numbers. When she first saw how I'd organized it, she thought that I had seen like some special tip about organizing them by numbers from the back. And I was like, no, that's just how I did it. And she thinks it's insane and I don't know why. So, yeah, I've taken things out and haven't like padded them so they're falling. But yeah, these are all my DMC, that I have. If they're not in a project bag with a pattern that I'm working on, or in that backstock bag I showed you, I have, oh, that's upside down. That's not good. I have, like, if I have any extras of these colors, they're in the backstock bag. So these are all the like active colors I have that are on bobbins, and I pretty much now am putting them on floss tags when I'm using them. I'm not keeping them on bobbins anymore. I like keeping them here. I, though, haven't really been like bobbinating. Now when I buy floss, I just put them on floss tags or put them in with the project. So unless I got colors that I didn't have a use for, I'd probably just keep them without putting them on a bobbin. But anyway, I've got a paint pen, I've got some magnets, which are what I use for needle binders, and some tape. This is the binder where I keep patterns. So I'm gonna not show you. So I have ones that I want to stitch. This is like where I'm keeping the Nutcracker Village charts. Oh, there's the back of one, so you can see that. That's fine. Other patterns that I'm going to talk about why I unkitted this soon, but that is one. I've got some other patterns that I've gotten for free that I want to try. I've got vintage patterns. I got these at a needlepoint store a couple of months ago. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I have some embroidery. These are like iron-on transfers you can do to do embroidery. Haven't really done much with those. And then I have all of my, these are charts that I made. These are the ornaments I made for Christmas. If I want to kind of recreate them next year for presents, I'll have them. So these are all in sheet protectors, and I just keep this in my room. The other thing I was going to talk about was my spreadsheet that I use for keeping track of stuff. So I'm going to put up some pictures as I talk, just quickly, because if you don't care about spreadsheets, this is way too boring. But I use it in Google Drive. I have all the DMC, I have like a inventory of all of my floss. I have a tab in my spreadsheet of each project I've worked on and done, and all of the information. So fabric, if I made any changes, designer, where I got it from, when I started it, when I finished it. It really helps with filming these because I can look at that and remember if I forgot. I was using a notebook, and the spreadsheet, I just do really well with spreadsheets, so I'm doing that. I have like a schedule of like when I want to finish certain parts of certain patterns, because maybe they're time sensitive. And then I have a new thing, which is basically where I'm just kind of tracking which days I work on certain projects. I don't keep track of how many stitches I did or how much time I spent. Like, I have to, I don't want to do that, so I don't do that, but I do think it's interesting to film. Yes.
Me and the boys watch a show.
No, we've already
well,
had
Steven's
enough.
watching the show.
Tell him to turn it off, please. Okay? Tell him we're not going to do that right now. I feel like that would take me more time that's taking away from stitching, and I don't have that much time to begin with. So, but I thought it was interesting, and I also am taking a picture. I took a picture on March 2nd of each project that I've done any work on, and noted it that it was March 2nd. And so I'm hoping mid-month to take more pictures so I can kind of see, only taking pictures of the ones obviously that I've added on to see what progress I've done, and then at the end of the month take another picture, because I don't really have a good gauge at this point of how much stitching I can do in a month. And so I have no idea if the goals I have for the year are attainable at all. So yeah, so the spreadsheet really helps, and that's also where I note in my spreadsheet where floss, whether it is in a project, if so, which one, if it's in that box or if it's in the backstock bag. So I might see, oh, I have this color, but I need a color for a project. I go and look, I have it, but it's already with another project. So I get a new skein of it because I know I'll use it eventually, and they're not that expensive. So the other thing I wanted to talk about at the end of this video is a giveaway. So now that I have 100 subscribers, I want to celebrate, and I don't have access to a lot of printed charts, and I don't have any that I'm not currently using because I haven't been stitching that long. So for this giveaway, I want to give you the option. The winner will be able to go to 123 Stitch and pick any pattern or patterns adding up to like $15, and you can then you'll email them to me, and along with your address, and I will have them shipped to you. So I didn't want to deal with digital patterns because I feel like that I would not like keep the digital pattern, but if I bought a digital pattern and then sent it to you, like that could be misconstrued. And again, I wouldn't keep it. I would just give it to you, but I just don't want to get into that gray area. So remember, you have to be 18 years or older to give me your address. This would need to be in the United States because I don't know how the shipping internationally would work. And if you could be a subscriber, that would be great. To enter, I want you to leave a comment telling me your favorite time of year. I shared at the beginning about March and why I love March, but also why it's hard. So I want you to tell me what's your favorite time of year and why. You can share as much or as little as you want. So anyway, I'm getting interrupted, and so I'm gonna let you go. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you again for getting me to 100. I still feel like that's a milestone that I'm really thrilled about. So anyway, happy stitching. Enjoy the spring, the warmer weather, and I'll see you next time.